Hey guys, Techie here to talk about MultiBlight, the sometimes villain of the one-shot. That said, if you've not watched Jetstream on the tabletop, actually don't worry about it too much with this one-shot. It was a standalone episode. Really, it was meant to be its own filler episode, as it were. As such, we needed a couple of filler characters who may not appear in the main story. Or they do. I don't know at this point. Now, the conception of MultiBlight was more done by Sol than me. Sol agreed to run the one-shot, but needed me to come up with a bunch of characters he could use. And he made it clear that he needed a mad scientist type character, so I started looking at a lot of old-style mad scientist tropes and build off that. Of course, MultiBlight was one of my faster drawings. She only took about 2 hours to do. I think the actual design itself took an hour. The other hour was doing the expressions, which we'll cover later. I actually developed a few interesting techniques with that. As you can see, I drew some inspiration from things like Mega Man, Perceptor himself. The other main thing was just to make her look weird, like the crazy eccentric genius. If you look at the ones from Transformers, like, well, Wheeljack in particular, his face was very different from every other Autobot. He had those side things that flash. Started looking at that and going, well, how can I make her interesting? And then I remembered an earlier video I talked about how odd it would be to have some Tronians wear clothing. How I used that on Monotron and Momofei. So of course I gave MultiBlight a lab coat and gave her Mega Man styled arms to look like big cuffed sleeves. Which I think all came out really nicely. As for the colors I used for MultiBlight, I found out early that Jetstream wasn't gonna be there, so I didn't worry too much about color balance. So I kind of went heavier on the pinks and purples than I should have done, because I also wanted MultiBlight to seem kind of sickeningly sweet. Like, you shouldn't trust her, she looks too colourful and nice. Also that, and I just found that pinks and purples really contrast nicely with whites and the multicolors I was going to use in her cable hair. As you might have noticed, I actually have removed a few things from the original sketch. Because of the time crunch in that, there were a few cases of adding a few things that I just removed later because it seemed to overcomplicate a step. Now this is the point where I actually started multiplying MultiBlight and using techniques such as masking and to do different expressions and different arm positions. My main goal was to create 3 main changes, and I kind of thought I could stop there, but then I had the idea of overlaying them and kind of deleting out parts of ones I don't need, so I could come up with, I think it ended up being like 16 different files. Now this is something I came up with around midnight, so I was kind of sitting there going, well, darn, if I could have thought of this sooner, I could have planned around this better. But to be honest, I was kind of impressed with how well this ended up working. So I might start applying this to characters in the future that may need like multiple expressions and multiple poses. Like, I wish I did layer capture as well, so you guys could see what my layers were like throughout all this. End up with like a couple of 100 layers because I had to duplicate a lot. That said, once they were done, this process was actually surprisingly a bit easier than I thought. Like you can see, I just deleted the arms of one, deleted the head of the other, and because they are overlaid, it meant I ended up with all these different poses and expressions, and I thought this was just really interesting. So anyway, that is MultiBlight, and do let me know what you think. Do let me know if you want me to do that video, like, summarizing a lot of my techniques. So there's one video with all my main techniques, so these videos can be maybe a bit shorter. With that, I've been Techie, you've been fantastic, and I'll catch you all next time. Do remember to subscribe, hit the bell, and just keep being fantastic, guys!